Hey Love Army, Richard here. I have the privilege right now to be with Michelle, who is from start to finish. And I just kind of want to get to know them as our partner for this month for the Backpack Challenge. They've been doing some really awesome work, but it's just going to be nice to hear from one of their representatives and one of their people there from start to finish about the work that they do and about our partnership and what $10,000 would do for children and kids and youth all across Canada are in need in this season. So, Michelle, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Nice to be here.
Yeah.
So my name is Michelle Rae, and I am the Volunteer and Community Engagement Manager with Start to Finish. I've been with the organization for 11 years.
Wow.
And I was actually introduced through our backpack program, which is a challenge that you're participating in. So, my first introduction to Start to Finish, I was at one of the backpack packing events, and the rest is history. So now I continue in my role working and supporting the backpack program each year, but then also with all of our after school programs that work on a fitness and literacy model and social emotional learning to help the children that are elementary age, grades 1 to 6, as well as our junior coach program, which is leadership development and also mentorship.
At the core of Start to Finish, what is it that you guys do? What is it that you guys are passionate about?
Yeah, the core of Start to Finish is really leveling the playing fields for children across Canada and helping to be that voice, that advocate for the children that need their voice to be heard in order to have the equal opportunity, access, equity, and just filling in the gaps in terms of education and also all of the support that they need for their social and emotional well-being. So Start to Finish is now in its 21st year.
Wow.
Yeah, and it actually started with the backpack program in Hamilton, where our executive director and founder, Brian Warren, he actually played in the CFL for about 12 years. He won 2 Grey Cup championships, one in Edmonton, one in Toronto. And playing across Canada, he saw the inequalities and the needs that were in the communities. And so many times there would be organizations that would bring buses in with children to watch games, which was great. But then after the game was finished, what happens to the kids? They still need the resources and the support to continue on with their education and the mentorship where they have times where they feel like they can't will themselves to do it. They have someone else there to help them. So that's how Start to Finish began in Hamilton with the backpack program, where 1 in 6 children live in poverty there.
I love that tagline that you guys said, leveling up the field for all children. But what is the current reality in Canada? Like me hearing poverty in Canada, it's hard for me to understand that, and perhaps some of our community and Love Army people feel the same way. But can you just give us the current reality of just children in poverty who are in need of something as simple, and maybe that's not the best way to kind of place it, but something as simple as school supplies?
So many times, like in the communities where we work, you'll see that there's the have and the have-nots are together. And you won't really know unless you are a part of the school community. Like the administrators and the staff that we work with are great because they know the demographics and the population of the children that are in the school. And unless you know that, you wouldn't know the gaps that are there. And one of the community partners that we work with, it's a very affluential community, and they have their students volunteering at one of the schools that are closed. And we always talk about the concept of blocks apart, but worlds away. So close, but yet the gaps are so vast. And we see that with there's new immigrants that come into the community. There's single parent homes with one income, so it keeps them like right at the borderline of that poverty line, as well as cyclical poverty, like it's in generations, and they need someone the support to break that cycle. So that's where Start to Finish comes in and continues to support and mentor not only the children, but as a support to the school community and the families that we work with.
It's awesome. So it's not just you guys are just dropping off the backpacks per se and see ya kind of thing. You're building relationships and partnerships and wanting to learn the needs even more in the community with the parents. I love that. I love that relationship and connecting point. I think it's almost 2 years now that we're in this pandemic, COVID-19. How has that affected just the needs of what you guys are doing for kids and parents and communities?
Yeah, so one of the programs that we have, our after school program, was kind of converted into, or another permutation of that is now our virtual program, because we were able to work in the schools with the families, but then with the closures of the schools and limited access just because of the what's taking place, we weren't able to have the in-person, but it was vital to continue that relationship because of the isolation. That was like the one of the big things that came out of this time, where children and families were able to connect in with the school community. They weren't able to be in person at least consistently. Right. So we continue to work with the schools and the families by providing our virtual program, running a reading club virtual program, and continuing to provide the mentorship, but then also an added component of the program was through our positive education and social emotional learning activities, and highlighting words of the day, character strengths with the children, so that they can learn to cope with emotions that they're dealing with, as well as identifying it and knowing that it's okay as well, and that there's a support system there for them. So it really helped during this time to walk them through some difficulties in isolation, and also transitions back and forth in person, virtual learning as well. So we were able to continue supporting it that way.
That's awesome. You know, even speaking with a little bit with our youth pastor here as part of our church, One Church TO, often we it's not that we neglect, but we forget that they are going through a lot of emotional unhealth, I guess, in processing a lot of these things with the changes, like you mentioned. And I love that you just gave me a glimpse of, again, it's not just backpacks providing supplies, but you guys are going beyond that in supporting and doing after-school programs to, again, just continue to support children that are in need, and finding those needs and meeting them and how you guys serve them. I love that. That is super awesome to kind of hear. So let's go back to the backpack challenge. So we're giving $10,000. The Love Army just kind of stepped out.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Pretty amazing. Like for us to think about. It's our first year, and I'm just like, oh wow, I'm just so proud of our team to be able to do that as a group. But can you just kind of give us a glimpse of what that amount of money will do? How many backpacks? What will that do to serve some of the needs, some of the initiatives that you guys are thinking about this season?
Yeah, so working with the team, we were able to support 2 of our schools, which the population is probably around 300. At each school. Yeah. So that's really, really awesome that you guys are able to do that as well. The backpacks, they contain 2 categories of supplies. So it's not only the backpack, but the school supplies for grades 1 to 3, and then 4 to 8, up to 6 months worth of supplies that we fill the backpacks with. And so they have all of the essentials like the binders, the paper, pencils, rulers, crayons, sharpeners, all of that will be inside of the backpacks. And we know that whether in person or virtual, depending on how this year goes, the kids still need the supplies because the assignments are still coming in. You have to continue to upload those, submit those, and it just takes another load off of the families, knowing that in come September that there's going to be a backpack and support for them there.
It's absolutely awesome. And like, you know, on top of that, Love Army, just make sure you submit those letters of encouragement, because we're going to be including them as part of those backpacks that we're going to be providing to those schools. So that's really awesome. Make sure you do that ASAP. But Michelle, thanks again for your time. But is there any last words that you kind of want to mention to our community, Love Army and One Church TO, before we let you go?
Well, thank you so much to Love Army for the entire team for choosing to support start to finish. The impact that you will have through the backpack continue to echo throughout the school year, because as soon as they come in and they have the confidence of having those backpacks, they are more empowered to face the school year that's coming up ahead. And just thank you for your willingness to come alongside with us, and the generosity and going the extra mile to write all of those handwritten notes, or if you're doing it up online, whichever way that they're submitted, that is going to be something extra that the kids will find in their backpacks. And a little bit goes a long way. And I know that a child, once they know that somebody cares and somebody's there and cheering them on, makes the world of a difference. So thank you so much to Love Army.
That's awesome. Well, Michelle, thank you again for your time. And we're looking forward to finally meet each other, maybe next year.
Yes, in
be able
person.
to hang out. For sure. Yeah. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Richard.